Hello and happy end of the year to everybody. This is late December, a couple days left in the year, and it's 60 degrees, super cloudy, but pretty good recording light. And I've got a new product, and I figured why not show you my solar array since it's not doing anything today. I've got 2,000 watts of panels here, and I'm making 140 watts at 1 p.m. We have, again, a new Bluetti product. This is the Elite 200 V2. This is the successor to the 200, the 200 Max. It is non-expandable. It's not a 200L replacement. It is a 200 Max replacement. And it uses, well, let's get it open here. I wanted to show, once again, the packaging. And this packaging, I think, is a little bit different. I could not feel an inside box in it. Let's see here. Well, there is a box. Come on, fingers. So put that down. One box. That's what I could feel. So this thing has handholds on the side. And I stuck my fingers in there and I could feel the unit through the handholds on the inner box. So we have a box of accessories. Looks like charge cord, PV cord, ground screw. We've got foam and an instruction manual. We've got a bag. And we've got a unit. So this is the Elite 200 V2 2600 watt inverter. This is the third largest inverter in any of the portable Bluetti products. So I have the AC 500, 5000 watt inverter. I've got an AC 300, 3000 watt inverter. And then the next step down is the 200L, which is physically much larger than this, which has a 2400 watt inverter. So this is basically the size of my AC 180, but 800 watts more inverter. That has an 1800 watt inverter. This is a 2600 watt inverter. This is also almost twice the weight. This is, I believe, 52 pounds or 51 pounds, and much greater battery capacity. This is 2,073 watt hours versus the AC 180's 1,024 watt hours, I think, something like that. So this is nearly twice the machine in just a fraction of a larger footprint. Actually, let me pause this. I'll go get the AC 180. All right, so here's the AC 180, and wow. So that's lined up over there. It looks like the 200 V2 is about a ½ inch wider. Let me line up the rears. It's about a ½ inch wider. It's about not even a ½ inch deeper. And let's see if I can get them side by side without dropping something. And it's about 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch shorter. So I am. What's the gravity difference? Oh yeah, the 200 V2 is quite a bit heavier. As I said, almost double. So this is a vast step up from the AC 180 in terms of connectivity also, because it not only has Bluetooth, but it has Wi-Fi, and it has all of the advanced UPS modes, the time control UPS, the PV priority. It has all that as well. All the UPS modes that the 200L has, the 200 Max has, the AC300 and AC500 have. So that will make this quite a workhorse. It is again 2600 watt inverter. I think they say 3900 watt power lifting. I don't know what the surge capacity, the surge rating of the inverter is. I'm sure, like the other units, it's progressive based on how much you're overloading it. Progressive time withstand based on how much you're overloading it. It will charge it up to 1800 watts off a standard C13, C14 cord, and it is capable of 1000 watts of solar input. And it does that in a slightly different way from the bigger units. It does not have a higher voltage PV input, 145, 150 volts like the 200L, the 300, and the 500 do. It has the same 60 volt input maximum as the AC180, but it will take up to 20 amps at 60 volts to get 1000 watts of solar. So that's a little bit different from Bluetti, going for the high current, lower voltage to get wattage. But we'll see what it does. I'm going to have to do use some creativity to try to get 20 amps of solar input into this. I don't have a power supply big enough to handle that. Yeah, so let me get it charged up, and we'll probably come back and do a full load discharge test once it's been topped up and had a good battery balance on it. Hello and welcome back. My head's cut off because I wanted to get a good shot of these two side by side, the AC180 and the new Elite 200. 2 weeks have passed since I filmed the opening for this. In that time, the weather has gone to garbage, and I went to Las Vegas for CES, where I got to handle both of these guys side by side and some other units. And I will tell you, the Elite 200 is it's a beauty of a machine. But I got my tape measure. Let's compare dimensions here, sort of officially. So the AC180 is 13.25 inches wide. The Elite 200 is 13.75 inches wide. Front to back, the Elite 200 is 10 inches. Front to back, the AC180 is 9.5 inches. And then, let's see, 12.5 and about 12.75. So the Elite 200 is a 1/2 inch deeper and 3/8 1/4 inch wider and taller. And it comes with the AC adapter cord, and it comes with a new design solar input cord. It's XT60, which is sort of becoming the standard, but it has 2 sets of MC4s. Oh, let's see, get 2 sets of MC4s. So this is a built-in paralleling. Paralleling is built into this cable. The Elite 200 will take up to 1000 watts of solar, and it does that via high amperage, so up to 20 amps. So they give you paralleling means to do that, so you're not trying to put all that through one skinny cable. And I would encourage anybody who tries to go for high power solar input on this to definitely use both sets of MC4s. Do not try to cram 20 amps through this. It looks like it's maybe 16 gauge, perhaps 14. It's not a whole lot. All right, so the Elite 200 has 2 sets of 100 watt type Cs, and the AC180 only has 1. So this is definitely quite a bit more useful, not just in terms of its total capacity, which is quite a bit more, but 2 sets of high power USB outputs. That is wonderful. All right, I'm going to clear some stuff away here, and we are going to set up to do a full load discharge test, or as near as we can, on the Elite 200 V2. Actually, before we do that load testing, I want to make one more comparison. This is my AC200L. It's a beast and a beauty of a machine, but as you can see, it is quite a bit bigger than the 200 V2. So let's see, height difference. The 200L is 14.5 inches tall. The 200 V2 is, again, 12 3/4. Width, 16.5 inches wide for the 200L. 13 3/4 inches wide for the 200 V2. And the depth is also quite significantly different. A hair over 9 3/4 for the 200 V2, and the 200L is 11 inches deep. So the 200L is quite a bit larger than the 200 V2. It is also 8 pounds heavier. It is 61 pounds versus 53 pounds, near identical battery capacities, and the 200L actually has a smaller inverter, 2400 watts and 2600 watts. But what the 200L has is a much higher input voltage range for the PV. It will also take 1200 watts versus 1000 watts. It has a 30 amp TT30 output port. We do not have that here, but you can combine outlets with an adapter and get the same output port. Very, very significant is that the 200L has battery expansion, which the 200 V2 does not. So input outputs and the mighty P090D connector there, which will take the B300K and the B300 batteries. So you can expand the 200L up to 8 kilowatt hours. The 200 V2 is not expandable. So I think the 200 V2 might be, if you can swing the weight, it might be the newest, best portable carry around unit. The 200L is no slouch. It's expandable, but it is also you know, a little bit less packable and trunk heavy. All right, now let's get to the load test. So the Elite 200 is a 2600 watt inverter. So I had to think pretty hard about how to get there with this. So I've got two power meters here. I've got a 1500 watt heater. I've got a 500 watt heater. I've got my adjustable power supply that is going to my rack mount batteries. That is very nice adjustable load bank. So we're going to try and get it right up to the 2600 watts per the display and see what we get for runtime. And I have zeroed out these meters, and we'll see what sort of power delivery we get. So we'll start with the 1500 watt. Okay, we've got the 1500 watt. Now we're going to add 500 watts. We're at 2200 watts. Let me make sure we're not blocking the fan here when she does kick up, because it will. Get my power supply going. And let's see if we can dial up to another 700. It'll be real close, or 600. $2,300. A little too much. Okay, 430 watts here, 500 watts here, 1500 watts here. We're indicating 2,545, 55 watts. So we're just going to let this run. I expect it'll take about 45 minutes, and we'll come back. Did the full load discharge here. It ran for the expected amount of time. Powered it back up. It won't turn the AC outputs on until it gets to like 5 or 10% or something. So it's now charging at the full rated charge, 1800 watts. From my AC 500 back here, it's a bright sunny day, so the AC 500 is bringing in 1800 watts, and it's sending it right to this guy. So power meter 1 here reads 1.1223 kilowatt hours, and power meter 2 is 0.6936, we'll say 0.694. So I added those up, and that is 1,817 watt hours out of 2,073 total for 87.6% efficiency. That is higher output than I've ever seen on a device I've benchmarked. So we're going to let this charge up. I may slow the charge rate down, or maybe not. It's really sunny outside. We'll maybe just let her go. But I'll let this charge all the way back up to 100%, and I'm going to do all this again, but at a lower discharge rate, maybe 200 or 500 watts, and see what we get. Okay, 2 days have passed since the previous test where I did a full load discharge, or very nearly full load discharge. That number impressed me so much. 87.6% of delivered watt hours, of rated watt hours were delivered. I did it again, and I got 87.0% of watt hours. I got like 2 more watt hours out of it. That's incredible. Now I've moved it up to a height that, you know, is comfortable for me, and sitting on top of my AC 500. I've been going back and forth here, doing some repeated discharge testing. I've tested it at 180 watts twice now. So one at the high end of the discharge range, one at the low end of the discharge range. I got at 180 watts discharge on my power meter, 1,888 watt hours delivered for an incredible 91.1% of rated watt hour capacity. It took 10 hours, or a little over 10 hours. I was so impressed by that. I charged it all up, and I did it again. That time I got 91.6%. I got an even 1,900 watt hours out of it as delivered. And I did it even again, and I switched my meters around just to see if it would read the same. And it read 91.5% of deliverable watt hours. So this is incredibly efficient. And between those discharges, I charged it up from the AC 500 at its full 1,800 watt, turbo charging. And now I'm charging it back up slowly at 500 watts. I'm very impressed with this thing. 53 pounds versus the AC 180's 35 pounds. So it's almost 20 pounds heavier, but it's a monster of a machine. It has all the UPS modes. I'm using it here with the grid input limit, so that's how I'm getting 500 watt charge coming out of the AC 500. It is still crappy weather outside, so I'm not going to have an opportunity to to test the solar input, but it is the new style. It is the XT60 connector. It will take up to 20 amps via the cord that I showed there. It is effectively double or 2 times the MPPT input as the AC 180. So that AC 180 has a 500 watt input. This has a 1000 watt input. It does that with the same voltage range. It just doubles the current. So you're going to be struggling to find something that will max out that 1000 watt input with this, just like you will find struggle maxing out the 500 watt input of the AC 180. My guess is you'll be able to get, or I'll be able to get, maybe 800 and some, possibly 900 watts out of this, out of the solar input. But it's going to be a challenge to find or construct an input array that gives you less than 60 volts open circuit, but at least 50 volts under load. Deliver 20 amps at 50 volts, but not go over 60 volts open circuit. That is going to be a huge challenge. All right, so the Bluetti Elite 200 V2 It is a monster, and I'm going to enjoy continuing to play with this. Thanks for watching.